Good evening, Internet. It is iShroom. Tonight I'm going to play another Pioneer League, and I'm revisiting a deck that I played a few months ago that didn't work out very well. It wasn't very well built. I think this version is built a lot better. Plus, we've got some new tools in the last few sets that should help us out. We're going to send some Hardened Butchers our opponent's way. What do I mean by this? Let's take a look. So, we are a Jund Hardened Scales deck. We're built around Hardened Scales effects. You know this 1-mana enchantment that makes it so that if one or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature I control, that many +1 are put on it instead. So this enhances the number of counters that are put on our creatures. And what we're really trying to do is snowball this card with Dreadhorde Butchers, which is a beloved card of mine. I know its ship may have sailed as far as like being a competitive card, but I still try to make this card work as much as possible. It's a 1/1 haste for 2 mana. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's going to be enhanced by our Hardened Scales effects. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So what we're really trying to do is snowball our Dreadhorde Butchers. This is a card that can run away with the game if it's not answered immediately. The Hardened Scales are going to make sure that it gets lots and lots of counters on it, so that we put our opponent in a situation where they can either take the damage from Dreadhorde Butchers and die, or they can remove it and take a huge hit to the face as all those counters just pile up on the Butchers. That's what we're trying to do. And we have other Hardened Scales effects in our deck aside from Hardened Scales itself. We have one Ozolith the Shattered Spire, which is just another Hardened Scales that can also, for 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature at sorcery speed. It can also cycle, but we're never going to do that. We are going to use this to enhance our counters. We also have a 2 of Winding Constrictor, which is just another Hardened Scales that's on a stick. It's on a 2/3 body. So we want this. We want creatures that can attack, and we want Hardened Scales effects, so the Constrictor is a good fit for this deck. And of course, we want other creatures that can synergize with the plan of adding counters and having them enhanced by our Hardened Scales. Creatures such as Stonecoil Serpent. This is just an excellent, excellent creature. It's an X mana reach protection from multicolored trample. It's just an XX. Whatever X is, it gets that many +1/+1 counters on it. Plus, the Hardened Scales will add additional counters to it as well. And it has trample. There's just so much value in this card. It's always just been a really, really good creature. We also have Gruul Spellbreakers, which are 3 mana, 3/3s with Riot. So when they ETB, they either get a +1/+1 counter or haste, and they have trample. And as long as it's our turn, us and Gruul Spellbreaker have trample, which is cool. The fact that it has trample is great because we do want to be able to get in that damage when possible. We also have Inti Seneschal of the Sun from the most recent Ixalan set. Whenever we attack, we discard a card. If we do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature, which will be doubled up by Hardened Scales. It gains trample until end of turn. So this is a way that we can give our Dreadhorde Butchers trample. Whenever you discard one or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. So this is also a little bit of card selection, which we otherwise kind of lack a little bit in Jund colors. But it's also a way to put counters on our creatures and give them trample, which is all stuff that we want. And, you know, we want to make sure that we get in our attack successfully with our Dreadhorde Butcher. We are playing Jund, so of course we have tons of interaction to work with. A couple of Fatal Pushes, couple of Assassins Trophies are versatile removal that can hit any kind of non-land permanent or land permanent. They get to replace it, but still, we just need to get blockers out of the way a lot of the time. One Shieldred's Edict can help us out a little bit against planeswalkers, possibly maybe against vampires, if the Vein Ripper happens to be the only creature on the battlefield. A Long Goodbye is just a good non-counterable removal piece that can hit like Liliana the Veil, can hit like Graveyard Trespasser, can hit a lot of stuff in Pioneer that is powerful and converted mana cost 3 or less, and the fact that it can't be countered is great. And one Riveteer's Charm I'm trying out as just another sack piece. This is good against the Vampire deck because it can make them sack their Vein Ripper for sure, or in the absence of anything better, it can make them sack their Sorin. It also can allow us to draw some cards or exile a graveyard, which can be useful in some matchups in Pioneer as well. Oh, I forgot to mention during the Scales portion of the deck, we are running 2 Rhythm of the Wild, another favorite card of mine that I like to try to go all in on this card. This time I'm only running 2. It's a 3-mana enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered. That's good against control. And non-token creatures you control have Riot. So every one of our creatures is going to have the possibility of entering with 1 +1/+1 counter, which will be doubled up by Hardened Scales, or with haste as well. So this can be really nice sometimes to give our Stonecoil Serpents haste so that they can immediately close out games. And rounding out our interaction to go back to that part of the deck, we have a 4 of Thoughtseize, because we're playing Black and Pioneer, and it's very versatile, can help us get through our attacks, can deal with just about anything our opponent is bringing to the table. We're also running a couple of Snakeskin Veils as protection spells for our creatures, because they do die to removal, but Snakeskin Veil for 1 mana puts a +1/+1 counter on them, gives them hexproof. Of course, we love having stuff that gives us +1/+1 counters, because those counters get doubled up by all of our Hardened Scales effects. And we have a 1 of Scavenging Ooze as well, which is just a creature that takes advantage of +1/+1 counter synergies, and is a little bit of graveyard hate and life gain in our main board. And we are running a 2 of Mishra's Research Desk, just as a card selection piece. I'm a big believer that, especially someone like me, I tend not to be like super lucky in my draws. So I like to be able to look at cards in a deck like this to make sure that we can get to the pieces that we need when we need to. I really like the Research Desk. It's two card selection spells in one, basically. Very efficient, very cheap to use. So it's a 2 of. It'll help us get what we need. There's a total of 22 lands in the deck, which really should be sufficient, as our mana value is like 1.5 on average. We're using a lot of fast lands because we want our lands to come into the battlefield untapped early if possible, although we do have 3 always tapped lands in the form of 2 Proving Grounds and 1 of... there's a creature land in here. What is it? Restless something or other. Restless Cottage is what it is. It's the Golgari one that becomes a 4/4 horror creature that can eat cards, creates a food, and can eat a card from a graveyard when it attacks. So that's good. And that's all. We have one of Boseiju as well for tech in our mana base. Our sideboard includes more graveyard hate pieces in the form of 2 go blanks, 1 Erebos' Intervention, which also can double as removal against aggro decks, and 2 Ashiok Dream Renders. So we are making sure that we're loading up pretty well on graveyard hate. Ashiok Dream Render, by the way, is also good against the Niv to Light deck, because Bring to Light does search the library, so Ashiok does prevent that from happening. We're running a couple of Duresses to go with the go blanks against control. You know, we want to take away those counter spells, those sweepers. A 1 of Necromentia is good against like combo-y decks. Lotus Field actually isn't really played that much these days, nor is mono green, but you can name like Lotus Field. There's a lot of different things you can do with Necromentia. You can name Omnath, you can name Bring to Light, Niv Mizzet. Necromentia has plenty of targets, plenty of decks in Pioneer do lean heavily on one particular spell. A couple of Pick Your Poisons are good against the Vampire matchup, also good against artifacts and enchantments. A couple more Scavenging Ooze brings our Ooze total to 3 for the main board for a little bit of graveyard hate and life gain. 1K command can destroy artifacts, make our opponent discard, return stuff from our graveyard to our hand, because our creatures will die. And a couple of Pithing Needle is a good hate piece that's good against everything from control matchups to like Rakdos artifacts. So that is the plan. We are going to try to snowball our Dreadhorde Butchers and other +1/+1 counter creatures with all of our Hardened Scales effects. We're in Jund, so we have access to lots of good interaction and a good swath of different Hardened Scales effects that each will enhance the combat value of our creatures and hopefully close out games pretty fast. That's the plan. Let's see if we can execute it. I think this is a much better build than our previous version, which was a little too clunky. One thing about the previous build is that it was running Mana Elves, but I have instead opted to increase the land count and just get rid of the elves, because our mana is a little awkward for Llanowar elves. You know, sometimes we need like double black on turn 3 when we're playing a 2-drop plus a 1-drop, and there's just many situations where the ability of Llanowar to only tap for green is very awkward in the early game, and like I think it's just better this way. You know, we don't need to curve out to a 3-drop on turn 2. We're happy just like climbing the curve as normal, interacting with our 1 and 2 mana spells, and getting there naturally to the late game where our threats will overcome our opponents with all of those counters. So let's get into a Pioneer League and see how this does. And if you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Okay, our first match is going to be against Vril Acolyte. Will be on the play. And yeah, looking good here. We've got Butchers, we've got Inti, got all our colors, so that's an easy keep. Some interaction of some kind would be nice, like, you know, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize. Alright, they start on a tap land. I do like that. That means that we're going to get in at least one hit with our Butcher. There's a Bloomin' Marsh. Whoops. We don't have any scales effects, unfortunately. Thoughtseize. Takes Inti. Gruul Spellbreaker. Okay. I think we'll run out Butcher number 2. Get those counters rolling. And then we'll play our research desk. I would love to draw a Hardened Scales. Opponent passes. Okay. Gonna crack the research desk here. Another Butcher and a Riveteer's Charm. Well, another Butcher sounds pretty good. Suppose I should have played a land in case they have like Censor or Jawari Disruption. It looks like they do. Oh no. Just gonna feel the ruin. Okay. Okay, they have a Fatal Push for the Big Butcher. But they're taking a lot of damage here. And our Butchers are getting pretty well primed. This is why I like Butcher. If they don't have the answer for it, it's just so devastating. I think we'll play our creature land here. Pass the turn. They shock in order to sweep. Okay, they have Extinction Event. That is the downside of Butcher, is that exile effects do get around its ability. Thoughtseize. Alright, let's Thoughtseize you. Beathook, Massacre, Valky, Jace. Okay, we need to kill them before their Valky goes off, which we can do. We'll just take Meat Hook Massacre, I guess. Then we'll make a hasty Spellbreaker. Get him down to 3. They know our last card is Besage, so no sense in holding it. There's Jace. Draw and discard. And they scoop. Alright, so Dimir, Jace, Valky control. We want the Pithing Needles. We want Duress. Is there anything else we want? I could see Go Blank. Fatal Push isn't really very good. It can kill a Valky, but we're not too worried about that. Yeah, we'll cut one Rhythm. Cut one Inti. One Stonecoil. And an Ozolith. This is okay. We don't have a tapped Black Source turn 1, unfortunately. But our hand is good. Play a tap land. Alright, we didn't get a Black Source. I think I'll go for Duress. Narset Sensor Fatal Push. Take Narset. They're trying to do jerky things with Narset. Like Days Undoing. Yeah, good thing we played around Sensor there. There's Field of Ruin. Let's Thoughtseize. Fatal Push, Dig Through Time, Sensor. Take Dig Through Time. play this black source. Next turn I can Butcher and hold up Snakeskin Veil. Cycle their sensor, yep. Valky. Okay. Takes my Spellbreaker. I'm just gonna kill the Valky. Rhythm of the Wild would be good. Do I really take a turn off to cast it? I think so, right? That's what it's here for. Alright, it resolves. Alright, like, now Jace to be a little scary. Let's play this on black. Play our Butcher. Give it a +1/+1 counter. We will Veil in response to the Fatal Push. Alright, they had another Fatal Push. Alright, they're down to 1 card in hand. And we've got 2 really good threats, so feeling okay about this. Our threats are going to be hasty, too. Another Thoughtseize. Sure, let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. Otawara. We'll get a +1/+1 counter and haste. It has hexproof, so they cannot Otawara. Riveteer's Charm. Let's attack. And I think I'm gonna wait. Make him hold up that 4 mana for Otawara. Extinction Event? Okay. Sure. Alright, let's Riveteer's Charm for some cards. Green, red, black. Duress, Besiju, Winding Constrictor. Alright, let's play Besiju. Play Winding Constrictor. Give it haste. Play our Stonecoil Serpent. Give it haste. And they're going to Otawara the Serpent, I would imagine. Yep. We've got 2 more hasty creatures that can come down next turn, though. And they're at 6. Alright, we just dismantled Dimir control there. Nice. Didn't have much scales to help us out there, but didn't really need it. GG's. Underscore Cygnus is our opponent in round 2. There, is that Thalia? Yes. Hopefully they're not playing Thalia. This is a 6-lander. Our opponent mulled to 6, so I think we'll also mulligan. This is much more reasonable. We have turn 1 Scales or Thoughtseize into turn 2 Butcher. So we'll keep this and bottom. Probably our Shockland. Plains go. I think I want to Thoughtseize them. Thalia Coppercoats. So let's take Thalia. Triple Coppercoat Vanguard. They don't play it, though. Okay. Guess I'll run out this Dreadhorde Butcher. Containment Priest. Do they have that in their hand? They did. I'm just dumb. They didn't block with it, though. Adeline. Oh man, that's a good top deck. Wow. Okay. Another Butcher. Gonna play Rhythm. Um. Yeah, I don't think I attack. Brutal Cathar. Wow. Alright, opponent's drawing like a champ. And now I don't think we can win. Okay. Well, go wide humans deck. Not what we want to see, because we really don't have much against it. We can bring in what other removal we have. Plus some Scavenging Oozes. There should be lots of food available. Anything else? Not really. What's not good here? Actually, the Dreadhorde Butchers really aren't very good. Because they go so wide with tokens and stuff. That is definitely an area of weakness for us. Sheoldred's Edict also isn't great, but I guess it's better than our other options. Cut an Inti. I guess Thoughtseize is okay. Cut a Rhythm of the Wild. Alright. We've got a Thoughtseize and some removal, so we'll keep this. Alright. We will Thoughtseize you. Recruitment Officer, Imposing Sovereign, Coppercoat Vanguard Adeline. I guess Coppercoat Vanguard or Adeline are the ones I want to take. Probably take the Vanguard. Do I want to take 2 damage for a snake? Our mana base is hurting us here. I think I actually do, though. I need to get onto the board, so our pain lands are punishing us. We're supposed to be the aggro deck. Another Stonecoil. Alright, I think I'm going to go for Inti. Let's swing with our snake. Discard something. Discard one of these Stonecoil Serpents. Buff the snake. Fatal Push. Ooh, would have been nice to cast that. But I only have tapped lands, unfortunately. That sucks. And there's white source number 2 for the Adeline. That's bad news. Alright, I think I have to pass here. They fire up Mutavaults. Hopeful Initiate, sure. Another Hopeful Initiate. Okay. So we'll block. We gotta block Adeline. We'll block. What else? Mutavaults? A recruitment officer. Probably Mutavaults. And then we'll kill this thing. Their last card is a Coppercoat Vanguard. So I think I gotta Thoughtseize it. That's another Adeline. Well, okay. Play a 3/3. And I think we're just dead here, right? I can block one creature. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Plus the... Oh, there's Thalia. Alright. GG's. Yeah, we are not well suited to this matchup or matchups like it. Possible that there should be some sideboard tech, but you don't see it that often. I don't know. Just unfortunate that we happened to run into it, but GG's. Match 3 is against the Kings and will be on the play. Kahira is revealed, so they could be control. In which case, this is a good hand. Yep, it's control. So we'll take, what, March first? March can kill our snake. Teferi is ultimately the worst one. Yeah, I think I'll start by taking... March. I definitely want to take Narset because I don't want them to draw more cards. I think I'll take Narset. I'm on the fence about whether to take March or not. The bin to get lost. Okay. Well, let's Thoughtseize. Teferi March lands. See, now we know they're gonna get to Teferi. I think I would rather just take that, though. If they want to use March, they'll have to, like, tap out for it, basically. Um, sure. Our life total is not really a concern, so let's just get down scales. They could march these scales. Thoughtseize. Now I wish I had Thoughtseize the March, obviously. Well, let's Thoughtseize you. Now they march the scales. We drew another Teferi. Okay. Go, Snake, go. They shock a hallowed fountain. To pick up Kahira. Ozolith. Alright. Let's play the Ozolith. Let's put some counters on our snake. They do have Otawara, so they can bounce our snake. Attack. They just take it. They just take 5, okay. They're gonna do it end step. No, they're gonna dig through time. Okay. Lay down arms on our snake. Okay. So they have Otawara plus 3 unknown. Another snake. Absorb. They play Otawara. Kahira. Shieldred's Edict. We're not going to use this right away. Thoughtseize. I guess we're Thoughtseizing. Absorb again. Okay. So they have something good. Their last card is something they want. The Wandering Emperor. So we can kill the Wandering Emperor. Assassin's Trophy. Keeps us alive, at least. You know, it's the fact that they have Kahira just as a free card that really put them ahead this game. Because when you see Kahira, you know you're playing against control. You know, this like elemental cat enhancer thing. Alright, let's cycle. Research desk. Research desk doesn't do it because it costs us 2 mana to crack it. Boo. We lose to the companion mechanic. Okay. So we want Pithing Needle, we want Duress, we want Go Blank. Maybe Colligan's Command 2. Fatal Push, we don't really need so much. I guess I'll cut the Fatal Push, keep the one Long Goodbye. Definitely want the Rhythms. Cut an Inti. I like Snakeskin Veil. I'll cut a Desk. No. Cut a Spellbreaker. Nah, we like the Spellbreaker. Cut a Snake. I like the Butchers. Painful making cuts. Serpent. A Desk. Maybe a Scales. I don't really like this hand. It doesn't have any disruption, so I'm going to mulligan. We want some of our sideboard cards. This hand also doesn't really have much disruption, but I don't want to multi 5, so I'll keep it and bottom. I don't have any green mana at the moment. Yeah, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. Bottom Scales. Alright, there's green mana. I'll just play a 2/2. They lay down arms. Okay. There's an Ooze. I think I'll just play a hasty 3/3. They don't have Kahira. So they boarded in a creature of some kind? Um, do I want to play Skoos now? They could Verdict. I don't think so. I think I'll wait. Here comes an Emperor. Oh, just a shark. Okay. We need our Disruption. We need our discard cards. We need our Pithing Needles. We're not going to win if we just use these cards. We need our sideboard stuff. Divine Smite. March. Okay. So they exiled that to play March. And we just draw lands. Okay. Let's play a Skoos. Go blank is fine, but it's better when they have, like, 2 cards in their hand. Teferi. Alright, let's kill the Teferi. Hardened Scales. Doesn't actually do anything, but it might be able to bait out a counterspell, hopefully. Okay. That's what we wanted. I guess we're go blanking now. Actually, they don't have any creatures in their graveyard, right? Yeah. So we're not going to get any counters off this. Might as well go blank, though. They discarded Hollowed Fountain and Settle the Wreckage. Memory Deluge. Chrome Host Seed Shark. Let's go ahead and eat Memory Deluge. Just more lands. Alright. This is not looking good. Well, perhaps this is a reason why a 20 land deck has some advantages over a 22 land deck. But then again, these lands, 2 of them at least, would have been Llanowar Elves, which would have been better than lands in this situation. Not much. Rhythm of the Wild. Well, if we ever do find creatures, they can be hasty and they can't be countered. Sunfall. Restless Cottage. So they just have a 5/5 incubate that we can't do anything about because we have nothing. Well, that sucked. A little bit of a contrast from our first match against Control when we actually drew relevant cards, but we just really did not that game. Too bad. Round 4, we're against Goblin Mode activated. Their Placid Rotten Tail. Is that like an Eldraine, some kind of twisted bunny? Kahira, some Control again. Well, this is a good hand against Control, I guess. We have a Thoughtseize, we have Rhythm of the Wild. Yep, it's Control again. Sunfall, Dovin's Veto, the Wandering Emperor. I don't want them to veto my Rhythm of the Wild, so I guess I'll take that. Alright, let's play our snake. Just want to start getting the clock going. However slow it might be. Serpent. Attack with the snake. Let's play a land. Let's Rhythm of the Wild. They found another Dovin's Veto. Alright, so let's attack them. Get Wandering Emperor, I guess. No. Alright, play a creature land. There's the Wandering Emperor. Gonna make a token. Okay. We'll push the token. Another fatal push. Alright, I think I want to take down that planeswalker, right? So they have Sunfall plus 3 unknown cards. Do I send everything at the Emperor? They have a Get Lost. Alright, let's attack the Emperor. The Bloomin' Marsh. Sure, let's use a map. March. What happened there? I got a land is what happened. Okay. Yeah, let's go for a 4/4. Make a token. Dreadhorde Butcher. Alright, let's cast this Butcher. They have a Sunfall in their hand, so this is largely not relevant. They also can create a token. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's explore, Butcher. Thoughtseize is the revealed card. No, I want to draw Thoughtseize, actually. Okay, attack the Wandering Emperor. Sunfall. Thoughtseize. Wandering Emperor, March. Um, guess I'll take Wandering Emperor. Narset. Gets a Teferi. Alright, getting pretty close to scoop time here. Let's play our Butcher. Attacking Narset. Kill the token. Now we don't have removal for the Hall, of course. Plus they have March, which they can use to exile the Butcher, which means it doesn't trigger. Memory Deluge. I don't know how we're gonna beat them. They can just Wandering Emperor, they have multiple removal pieces. I mean, I need a miraculous series of draws here. Here comes the Wandering Emperor. No? Okay. The question is, do we do this now or do we save it for Teferi? We probably just kill the Emperor. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't correct to attack there. Our options are so bad, though. If I don't attack there, don't they just March of Otherworldly Light? Here comes Teferi. We just draw more land. I believe that it is safe to scoop at this point. We have nothing. They have an active Teferi, a March, and a Memory Deluge, plus a Hall that we can't deal with. Pithing Needle. Duress. Go blank. Maybe even Necromentia. Fatal Push. Long Goodbye kills Narset. All our stuff is good. Cut, cut, cut. Scavenging Ooze. Nothing dies. They exile everything. That means that Dreadhorde Butcher actually isn't very good either, come to think of it. Because nothing dies. Do I really want Necromentia? I don't think so. Take a K command. I guess I will keep in the Butchers just because I do need to have something to attack with. Cut one Scales. It's unfortunately a mulligan, a one-lander. That's also a one-lander. It has good cards. Should we get to play them? It has very good cards. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I'm just gonna have to top deck. Let's bottom Spellbreaker, I guess. Carplucent Forest. I'll just play this now. The Wandering Emperor. Alright, deck, I need some help here. They're also a Sunken Citadel deck. Okay. That helps. They're on double blue so far. It's actually pretty good. Let's Hardened Scales. I should have played that with not my black source. I can't make myself sack with Sheoldred's Edict, unfortunately. Alright, let's duress you. March. Just a counter. Okay. There's the March. Portable hole. Gonna get rid of our Pithing Needle. Of Hardened Scales. Okay. Narset. Three steps ahead. Assassin's Trophy. Well, since they drew 3 steps ahead, I feel like I need to get this down now. That way my creatures can't be countered at least. Alright, they whiff on the second Narset. That's good news. Inti. Yeah, let's go with an Inti. Let's get hasty. And what removal is it going to be now? Another March? 3 steps ahead, creating a token that's a copy of Portable Hole. Okay. Four Narsets. Reveals to Fairy. Hardened Scales. Another Portable Hole. Gonna target what? Hardened Scales? Sure. I can Assassin's Trophy a Portable Hole. Kind of feel like I need to save it for their Planeswalkers, though. It would be nice to get Inti back. I think I'll just save it. Land. Now they have creature land. They have 2 creature lands. Mountain doesn't do anything. Another Portable Hole. Gee. They found the entire playset of Portable Hole. Hall of the Storm Giants. Well, make him sack it. Hey, what's up, Bobby105? It's a Jund Hardened Scales brew. That's currently being victimized by blue-white control. Gruul Spellbreaker. Okay, let's cast it. Let's get a +1/+1 counter and get haste. Yep, always a blast. On the plus side, they have played all 4 of their portable holes, so they can't do that. Yeah, no one likes playing against control. It's fun to play control, but playing against control is the worst. Wandering Emperor. Since they found their 4 portable holes, they got rid of our Pithing Needle. Colligan's Command? That'd be a good draw. Hey! Like 80% chance they counter it, but it's worth a try, right? Destroy target artifact. 2 damage to any target, or make someone discard. I probably have to kill the Wandering Emperor just in case this gets countered, right? I mean, well, it gets countered. Gets countered. Just in case they have another answer to a Pithing Needle? Or do I make them discard? I think I'll make him discard, actually. And we'll get rid of that portable hole. Alright. The Wandering Emperor. They discarded Iganjo. Problem is I have nothing. They have a creature land and 2 cards, and they have a companion. Cycle a Sensor. Activate the Anchorage. They drew a Plains. Hey, we have a creature land of our own. Activate the Anchorage again. Oh, a Regal Caracal. Okay. And they grab Kahira. I don't think so. They have 4 cards in hand. Look at their board. I just drew a land. I basically have nothing. They also have this creature land that they can keep activating that gives them map tokens. I don't think I'm remotely in this. My chance, I might not be 100% out. More like 85 to 90%. I mean, I guess I fire this up while they're tapped out, right? I could use it to try to block them, but then they could just have, when they have mana up, they could have removal spells. So I guess I would accept a trade of this for the 2 lifelinking cats, although they probably just take this, gain 4 life with the cats. They don't have anything juicy in their graveyard, right? Not really. This doesn't really matter because they can just gain that 4 right back. Kahira. Companion mechanic. What a great mechanic. They should bring it back in MH4. No, they should never ever print more companions. Like if they're gonna do companions, they should be, the deck building restriction should be on the level of like Lutri. And even then, it's just fundamentally unfair. Like how many matches are won by like a sideboard Gigantha? So I'm dead here, right? Yeah, I'm at 3. What's the best I could do? I could make them sack the Caracal. Then I don't have mana to activate my cottage. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this game's over. Alright, final opponent is Dope Core. They don't have Kahir as a companion. That's good news. We'll be on the draw with a non-interactive hand, but it's not a bad hand. Opponent kept 7. I think I'll also keep 7. I don't have red mana, of course, but we'll draw it. Alright, I'm also just going to lead on a tap land. Mana Confluence. Rafine's Informant. Oh, so they're Greasefang. And they just immediately plop the Parhelion into their graveyard. Okay. So this might be over really quick. Okay, they didn't have the Greasefang. That's good news. Thoughtseize. Our hand is good against Thoughtseize. What I really want is a Scavenging Ooze. Because as soon as they draw a Greasefang, we basically lose the game. That or a removal spell. They take our Spellbreaker. Alright, we draw Thoughtseize. Let's Thoughtseize. Parhelion can't stay away. Collective Brutality. I guess can't stay away. Make it more expensive. Let's go ahead and play a 3/3. Oh, they had to besage you? Alright, so 2/2. Which I suppose I'll trade for the Informant. Collective Brutality on my snake, okay. Their last card is Parhelion. Riveteer's Charm isn't bad. Red. Whatever. It's gonna be hard to hold it up, however. Do I hold it up? I can make a 4/4 and still hold up Riveteer's Charm. So I think I do hold it up. Or I could just go full Leroy. Make a 7/7. And just hope to dodge the rat for one more turn. I don't know. I'm Jund. I don't feel like I should play conservatively, right? Gotta go for it, right? Play to win. 6/6. I'm gonna haste it, actually. I'm not gonna get the counter. Alright. No Greasefang, please. Grizzly Salvage. Thoughtseize, Chariot, Concealed Courtyard, Overgrown Tomb, and Plains. Alright, they didn't mill over. They didn't get to grab a Greasefang for free. Alright, they found it. GG's. So we went for it and we got punished. Isn't that usually the way? Okay, so how about all of our graveyard hate? And Necromentia? Maybe K-Command? Pithing Needles? That's a lot of cards I'm boarding in. 2, 3. We'll just do some shaving overall. 5. I want the Butchers. Yeah, something like this. Actually, I probably should not cut the research desk, since that's like my only card selection piece. I don't think we can keep a hand with no sideboard pieces and no interaction against them, because they just win on turn 3 if they do their thing. And I don't have like a kill spell for a Greasefang either. That's a mulligan. Okay, this is much, much better. What to bottom here, though? Probably Spellbreaker. Opponent also molds a 6. They mold to 5. Okay, let us Thoughtseize. Pick your poison, Informant, Sky Sovereign, Bitter Triumph. These are all really good. The Informant puts Sky Sovereign in their graveyard. Does that matter, though? We do have a Pithing Needle. I think Bitter Triumph actually just kills our Scavenging Ooze. And we want our Scavenging Ooze. When it enters the battlefield or attacks. They have a Pick Your Poison for my Pithing Needle. Man, they just have like the perfect answers to everything. That's really unfortunate. I think I have to fade Greasefang for 1 turn. Just cast my Ooze. Hope that I get to untap with it and eat the Sky Sovereign. They just have it? Of course they do. Well, it's nice to see, I guess, in a way, that Phoenix and I hate this deck so much that Phoenix and vampires aren't the only playable decks, but I just wish the other playable deck wasn't obnoxious like this. It's just like a one card combo. Um, Now I think we're dead. We can't play Assassin's Trophy. I guess I'll just Pithing Needle, naming Sky Sovereign. If they pick your poison, I can at least Fatal Push the Greasefang. But they actually are just killing me on the battlefield with combat damage as well. Dreadhorde Butcher. It can block something. Missing a land there really sucks. Actually, we're just dead. Yeah. Boo, Cheesefang, cheesed us out. So, that was Hardened Butchers 2.0 in Pioneer, Jund Hardened Scales. So, after a very convincing win in match number 1 against Dimir Control, we pretty much got rolled by a blue-white control twice, by Greasefang once, by what was the other deck that got us good? Oh yeah, humans. So I can see an argument for some form of sweeper in the sideboard to help out against humans. Humans isn't commonly played, but there are decks that are, you know, similarly tribal. There's vampires which can collect, you know, a decent amount of weenies on the board. I could see something like Witch's Vengeance as a 1 or 2 of in the sideboard. I think that's a worthy inclusion. Blue-white control, like, I feel like we already have decent enough tools against that deck with all of our discard and like our pithing needles and stuff. We didn't draw very well. Like particularly in the first match, we drew so many lands. We didn't get to our tech that we needed. And in the second match against blue light control, we kind of just got, I don't know. It's a hard deck to beat. That deck is really good, and while we do have the tools to maybe beat it, I don't think we're like favored in that matchup or anything. I think we're like below 50% still probably, but at least we have a chance post sideboard. And Greasefang is one of those decks that like if they just have it, like you just lose the game. It's kind of like Sorin vampires. If they just have the turn 3 Vein Ripper Sorin and you don't have the answer to it, you just lose the game. And Greasefang is kind of like that too. It incidentally just like can present a good battlefield because Greasefang's a 4/3 and they have a 2-mana 3/2 in their Raffine's Informant. So I feel like we got pretty unlucky in this league, I have to say. And I think the deck does reflect a bit better than it showed in this matchup. I would say we want the sweepers. We want a couple of sweepers in this sideboard. And as far as like anything I would change in the main board, I don't know. The mana base maybe could use a little work still. Like, there might be too many tap lands. You know, we did get punished a little bit by having our Zyator's Proving Ground into the battlefield tapped and not being able to Thoughtseize turn 1. I think that happened once or twice in the league. So probably we want to eliminate any lands that enter the battlefield tapped on turn 1, except for possibly like a 1-of creature land. I also feel like Field of Ruin is a needed card in Pioneer. Like, we have one, but especially for a deck like this that does a lot of 1-for-1 trades, when you get down to like the end game where both sides are top decking, the deck that has the most creature lands is going to win almost always in those situations. So that's why I feel really uncomfortable having less than 3 or 4 Field of Ruins in my decks, and I think that this deck could use at least one more Field of Ruin. But yeah, I don't know. I think the deck can go off. I think, well, one thing I will say is perhaps it is time to just accept that Dreadhorde Butcher is not a good card in Pioneer. It's just like there's so many effects that exile and bounce in Pioneer, you know? Just a Brazen Borrower deals with this immediately. March of Otherworldly Light just like clowns this card, you know. A blue-white control, all they have exclusively is like exile-based removal, and Brazen Borrower is an extremely commonly played card, as in Otawara. So I think it might be time for me to just accept it. You know, maybe I need to build my own cube or something that's designed around this Ravnica block, War of the Spark Ravnica era of Standard, when I thought it was so much fun. But Dreadhorde Butcher may just not to be up to snuff in Pioneer, I have to admit. In which case, it could be replaced by other cards that are good in this strategy. I love the Stonecoil Serpents. Gruul Spellbreaker probably should be a playset. Inti's really good. Yeah, just some other aggressive 1- and 2-drop creatures. There's plenty of options. You know, even like a Slick Shot Show Off, although it doesn't get counters on it. I don't know. There's got to be other options in Jund colors in Pioneer that fit with this plan of Hardened Scales, and I do like all the scales. Although we didn't really see it get to see it go off too much. Maybe just like 1 or 2 games we saw any Hardened Scales triggers, which is really crazy. But yeah, too bad. 1-4. Yeah, add the sideboard sweepers. Probably just back to the drawing board. You know, Dreadhorde Butcher is not going to cut it. I think that it is possible to make a good Jund Hardened Scales deck, and it would be cool. It just probably wouldn't include this card. It would require, you know, replacing this with something better, something actually good in Pioneer. Anyway, had to give it the old, you know, try. Anything worth doing is worth doing many times with what is it they say about doing things with similar results and with doing the same thing and expecting different outcomes. Maybe that's a little bit applicable in the case of Dreadhorde Butcher for me. Anyway, that's going to do it for this league. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did and you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Hope to see you in next week's MTG vid. Viewers, have a good night.